I was born in 1961. I'm 65 years old and have been lifting weights for over 50 years. Right now, this is what I look like, this is what I lift like, and no, I'm not on TRT. Not too long ago, this video popped up on my feed, and against my better judgment, I had to take a look. I started out doing push-ups. I fully expected it to be a bunch of nonsense, and I wasn't disappointed. Here, take a look.
Do a push-up right now. Seriously, 1 rep. I'll wait. That push-up was wrong because 95% of people do push-ups the same broken way.
95%? Are you kidding me? I guarantee you there is no study that shows that 95% of people do push-ups wrong. I guarantee you there's no one who ever studied how many people do push-ups wrong. So that means this had to come from, expert opinion. Well, exactly how many experts were surveyed? Oh, that many. So what is this? Well, here's a really good explanation. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on, zombie statistics. We've all heard of this, word of mouth builds something up. And then people, why do they use it? Why does the fitness industry use it? Well, of course, to get attention. Oh my God, if you're doing this wrong, you have to pay attention to me. You have to watch my video to figure out how you need to do it right. So not off to a good start. And honestly, it doesn't get a lot better, because the point of this video is if you do the 5 things that this video tells you to do when you do your push-ups, they will go from being the most overlooked to the most effective upper body exercise you can do. Really? I don't think this guy did a lot of push-ups, and my God, I do think he's got a fairly decent upper body. And this is a clip of Dorian Yates. I put the whole thing up so if you wanted to watch it yourself, it's him doing his chest training. And guess what? There's not a push-up in sight. So the idea that push-ups are going to become the most effective upper body exercise you can do is just nonsense. The reason I stopped doing them, the reason they will never be the most effective, is because you are limited by body weight. You cannot engage in progressive resistance training. You cannot increase the resistance. So we're off for an 0-2 start, but let's take a look. Let's listen to some of the things he has to say as to how you should do your push-ups to make them the most effective upper body exercise you can do.
Put yourself from above during a push-up. Your body makes a T shape, arms straight out to the sides. Feels natural, feels powerful. It's shredding your rotator cuff.
No, I'm sorry. That does not feel natural. That does not feel powerful. I have never seen anyone do that, put their elbows out to the side. I've seen people do it, but they do it because they've been instructed poorly. If you do a push-up naturally, just the way it feels right, what are you going to do? You're going to put your hands in a push position, just like this. If I were going to push something right now, this is where my hands are going to be. That's where they're going to be. And you can see the angle they're forming, it's about the 45 degree, but this is where they naturally go. So this nonsense that people are flaring their elbows out or something like that, they're only doing that if they've received poor instruction, or some people just have crazy ideas. Let's face it, so that one's down the tubes right away.
This is the reason your chest still looks the same no matter how many push-ups you do. Every rep is a partial rep. Every set is half a set.
Partial reps, I'm afraid, are a part of the physique and weight training arsenal. They are appropriate in many circumstances. They can be more effective in many circumstances. And just switching from partial reps to full reps on your push-ups is not going to make any great difference at all. You don't do all partial reps all the time, but a lot of times they can be very effective. And, here we have, I think this is Jay Cutler. And I think if you look at the video right here, this is all partial reps. I'd say the guy knows what he's doing. So I think we can put that partial reps one to bed as well.
Most people's push-up position is soft. Hips sagging, lower back dipping, core just hanging there like a hammock between their shoulders and toes.
All right, this one's just posture. He's talking about posture, how you hold your body. Now, I don't really remember if I was instructed or if I just understood immediately that the way to do a push-up was to hold your body fairly straight, like a board, flat back and everything. And the only people who don't do that are doing it because, one, They really don't want to be doing push-ups, and letting themselves sag and do all that stuff makes them easier. Or two, they're simply not strong enough to hold their body correctly and do a push-up, in which case they should be really doing the push-ups from their knees.
2 to 3 seconds down, 1 second pause at the bottom, 1 to 2 seconds back up. Your muscles don't count reps, they count time under tension. 10 slow reps will build more muscle than 50 fast ones.
All right, this one is my favorite because he's saying go slow. This time under tension thing, this idea of if you move slowly, you get more out of an exercise. That is bunk. That is simply not true. But I'm gonna go through it in 3 parts we're going to address. The first one is this idea of time under tension, time under tension. Okay, so if I'm going to do 10 slow reps versus 50 fast reps, guess what? The time under tension is going to be the same. I've done this in my own training where I'll do more controlled reps and I'll do fast reps, and I get more reps with the fast reps, but the amount of time that I'm able to keep that weight moving is basically the same. So the time under tension argument from that perspective doesn't hold water. Now, the other one that is this idea of slow on the eccentric increases your development, increases your response. Well, that's been around since Doug Young. This is a video of Doug Young. He was a power lifter back in the 70s, and he's was famed for how slowly he lowered the bar. And this is like 500 plus pounds, and that's like 4 seconds down. He actually takes longer bringing the bar down than he does pushing it back up. And when asked about this by Terry Todd, who was, if you know anything about powerlifting, you know who Terry Todd is or was. He said, no, it has nothing to do. He doesn't think it makes himself stronger or anything. It's just he did it because he felt he'd get better positioning on the bar. And no study has been able to bear out this idea that slow eccentric somehow is better than a more normal speed or even a fast eccentric. And now we're going to get into the real, or to me, the biggest reason I think the speed, the go slow idea is just bad, is that the most functional ability, athletic ability that weightlifting can create is power. And power is a combination of strength and speed. It's being able to generate strength suddenly. That kind of power is what gives you athletic ability. That's the ability to jump, to change direction, change velocity. The reason Barry Sanders, and some of you might not have heard of him, but he's probably one of the best, at the very least, the most agile running back I would say the NFL has ever seen. I mean, he could stop on a dime and give you change, as the saying goes. The reason he could do that is because he had power. He could generate force suddenly, very quickly. And you can see that force is what gives you power. If you look at the equation for acceleration, how quickly you can get moving, force over mass is what will give you acceleration, which means the more force you have, the more acceleration you have. So when you're going slow, you're generating less force. When you're going fast, you're generating more force. You can see this in your car. If you accelerate slowly, what are you doing? Just pushing gently down on the gas pedal. If you stomp the pedal, you generate a lot of power, you move fast. And that's why I really can't stand this go slow thing. Slow, controlled, yes. Slow, no. So this idea that you're going to get some great development by going slow is just nonsense. And in fact, being myself an older athlete, I got my nicks and dings. One of the ways I compensate for the fact I do have to some exercises use less weight. Well, one of the ways I still get strength into that is to move that weight faster, because when I, suddenly stop and drive that back up very fast, even with a light weight, I'm generating a lot more force. I'm getting a lot more motor units into that motion, and it helps to compensate for not being able to move as heavy a weight as I used to without being uncomfortable. So very much, this slow, do your reps slow? Absolutely not. Totally wrong. Opposite. You want to do them as quickly. Now, there are reasons for doing them slow other than this, but in terms of developing strength and power and building yourself, is every reason that you want to be moving fast as you can, while controlling the weight or properly performing the exercise. Number 5, shoulders over the bar. I'm sorry. I'm so tired of this guy already at this point. I don't even care anymore. Yeah, I've seen some people like roll kind of forward. I don't think it's a big deal. I don't even get the idea what his explanation is about. And he talks about, like, some of these things he talks about in this video are things you do naturally if you do your push-ups. So this one, I think he just wanted 5 and he came up with something to make it 5. So what's the takeaway from this AI generated disaster? Well, to start with, the premise upon which it's based is garbage. 95% of people are not doing push-ups wrong. Very few people are doing push-ups wrong. And no matter how you do push-ups, they are never going to become the most effective upper body exercise. You simply cannot increase the resistance. They are strictly limited in what they can do. And then when you get to the solutions to problems that don't exist, or solutions that aren't really solutions, in fact, bad advice. I mean, speed is something that's very important in your training, and there's nothing wrong with partial reps. And people aren't all flaring their elbows out and making a T. I don't think there is any question that this video is not bro pump. This video is bro dump with a full poop emoji. Enjoy the video? Let me know. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.